Hello everybody, I'm Joe from Scots English College, Sydney, Australia. I'm here at Scots English Vietnam here in the city of Hanoi. I'm here this week to work with my teaching and management colleagues to make our services better for our students here in the city of Hanoi. We have a competition for you today with some nice prizes. This competition is probably more suited for those of you that are ready for IELTS level English studies. Our first prize today is a 100% scholarship to any course on offer here at Scots English Vietnam. Our second prize is a 100% scholarship to our speaking pronunciation course here in Hanoi. And finally, we have 10 small prizes for the first 10 applicants of a notebook from Scots English College. The competition, what do you have to do? Those of you who know the IELTS test will know that part 2 of the speaking test involves the examiner presenting you with a cue card. And on this cue card, there's a subject that you have to speak about for 4 minutes. The examiner normally gives you 1 minute to prepare for this section of the examination. This is the cue card I'm giving you today for our competition. Think about a person who has influenced you in your life. What was the name of that person? Describe how that person has influenced you. Tell us about something that you've changed in your life because of the influence of that person. You can prepare your speaking entry on an iPhone, a recording device. It must be you alone and we must see your face. When you're ready to send in your recording, it should be up to 4 minutes like the real examination. Please send it to ielts@scotsenglish.vn. If you're not sure about that email address, please go to our website, scotsenglish.vn, to confirm the email address to send through your applications. We wish you the best in our competition. I hope to meet you if you become a future Scots English Vietnam student when I visit next. Thank you for listening to me today, and thank you for your hospitality here in Hanoi, Vietnam.
And I know how to listen, because they have also opinions. You have to know, and you have to accept if they are asking something. They have questions. So that is something that you have to respect them. They are human beings also. And not underestimate that.
I would agree with you. I think everybody does the best they can with what they have. Everybody, I think the vast majority of people do the best with what they have. Well, I have maybe less than you, but we measure each other according to our standards. We all have inbuilt standards. So you must understand that everybody is coming from a different place than you. But sometimes we have to move up that place or move down to be together on things.
So really training in order for you to be able to play and be energetic, whatever you are doing at it.
Sorry, energetic?
Energetic.
Okay. Well, you guys work 12 hours a day. I don't know how you keep it up. Well, so do I, but not every day. I don't have to, but I do, but you guys do. So you need energy. So what does that say about me? David said he was 65. That means he's out the window?
No, it's about spirit and how you handle things or any problem that comes to your way. And it usually goes together with positive. If you are keeping up a positive of whatever you are doing, then you will re-energize by exercising, regardless of age.
Okay, of course. The worst thing is to go to your job every morning or evening and hate it. You say, oh class, I don't want to do this again today. That's a terrible feeling. But part of it is you, to get your thinking right. It's not all to do with the job. It could be a lot to do with the job, but you are in control of that situation, a lot of it.
We also discussed professionalism,
Yes.
honesty, the ability to be flexible. These are employability skills
Yes.
we're talking about here.
Yeah.
The ability to work in a team, but also that means tolerance for other people's ideas and acceptance of them. But also the ability to work alone and be responsible for what you're obligated to do, and that effective time management skills. The ability to work under pressure and demonstrate the ability to have good organisation skills. So you can organise yourself in your time and your task, manage your time effectively, and that can be demonstrated easily by referees, by documentation, other things. So employability skills are many and varied and can come in different ways. The most important of all those for me when I'm employing people is honesty, ability to be flexible, and ability to work in a team.
Okay. So guys, whether you like it or not, you are a team, and if you're on a together team, you will be a together team as the weeks and months go on. Unfortunately, we don't bounce into each other often enough, but we're looking at ways to make that better. David and Paul, last one.
Maybe a little bit old school, but I've put reliable and punctual. I think it's my business, that's the first thing that we're looking at.
Of course, the simple things matter. So we have flexibility, reliability. So I have in the school in Vietnam, I have a lady who is the Brazilian marketing manager, and she recruits students from Brazil. She's excellent at what she does. She's the best of the best. She will always be late. Not sometimes, always. So if you're meeting at 9, you tell her 9 and you really start at 10. But she is great at what she does. She's an excellent employee, great at her job. But she's coming from a culture that values time differently than Western culture in my sense. So I would be like you, punctuality, I would never be late. Sometimes you have to tolerate some things with people that you know are good. If you're driving a bus, of course, it's not much good if you're late every morning. All right, some of the general employability skills. So what I want to get to is, when you go into the job on the first morning, you've got a job, do you have all of these? You have. So, oh great, that's great, I'll be fine for the next 60 years and then I'll retire. Do you have all of these? Do we have all of these on the first day? Of course not. Of course not, we don't have those skills. We might have the ability inside, but we've never developed them. As teachers in this English teaching environment, we have the motivation to be a teacher, but the skills, of course, we have to develop. How do we develop skills? Whether it be as teachers or employees. What do we need?
Practice.
And practice makes perfect, indeed. So, what else do you need? What do you need to develop these skills? Come on, some words.
Learn from others.
Learn from others. Training. Feedback from peers, from professionals, people who know experience, and all of this together, what we're talking about is our own professional development. It's just a fancy word for getting better. I want to get better every day. I want to get better in that classroom. I want and have the awareness that was a great class, but I did that again. I know I was speaking for 3 minutes when I said in my head on the way here on my motorbike, I'm not speaking for more than a minute. And the class is over. I did it again. You're aware there's things you want to change. That shows that you're ready for PD, for professional development. Now, so this is my reason why every teacher, we're talking back into education and English language now, this is why we must do it. Our students deserve it. They deserve us to give the very best. So here are some things. This is what the research shows that's important for teachers when it comes to professional development. I could show you 25 pages. These are just squashing them together. So, content focused. Somebody tell me what that means. Content focused. What's your content in your, what is it in your classroom?
Content is textbook plus the way you teach and getting responses from students, giving them exercises.
So everything that you do in the classroom with your students, that's your content.
Yeah.
So what the research has shown is teachers say, if I get training, it should be about the way I do, the way I teach in the classroom. That's the best kind for me. Show me how to teach that that's on the syllabus. I don't want to learn about the history of education. Who was the first philosopher? About Socrates. I don't want that. Tell me how I can get better in my classroom with the stuff that I teach every day. That's what most teachers want. Incorporates active learning. What do you think the phrase active learning means?
Two-way communication. Two-way communication.
Active listening. That's what you're thinking of. So active learning. Active learning.
Also learning.
My learning is active.
If the students are willing to acquire the knowledge, they don't just sit there.
Professional development is about you, my dear. Tell me about you. Active learning. I am active when I'm learning.
It means that I want to acquire the knowledge from you, just that I don't sit there and just
More than the
listen.
knowledge.
Yeah, listen to you.
Yes.
I will ask you questions.
Yes.
And I will challenge you.
So what will you do with the information that you learned from me?
I process them, I judge them.
In the classroom?
Yeah, whether it's correct or incorrect, and
Yes.
then I ask you or challenge you.
That's not me.
No, it's not from outside.
Okay. So, you're right. Of course, Joe, you're right. Active means I can start using it in my classroom now.
Application.
You can apply it immediately. What teachers say is, if you want to do professional development, it's active learning. I can do it in my class. Teachers directly engaged in designing ways to do things, coming up with strategies. So I give you a problem, guys. You all have a problem with teacher talk. I'm going out, I'll be back in an hour. I want you to fix this. And when I come back, you will have 5 strategies that everybody can use tomorrow. And tomorrow will be a little bit better than today. It's not rocket science. It's your mind being open to be better. That's what PD is about. It's not sitting with an expert from a university. That's useful sometimes, but not what we are doing or talking about. Supports collaboration. Everybody working together. Everybody working together. Back to team player. So many ideas here, so many years of experience. There's probably 500 years of experience in this room. Me, 600. So there's a lot of experience in here. That's why working together can be so useful. So again, the same ideas again. Best practice means the best way to do things. The best way to do things when you are involved in professional development, you should be learning the best way to do things. And that's where maybe a little bit of research can be useful. maybe looking at buying a book about teaching strategies and giving everybody a copy. Maybe having a few journals in the teacher's room. So you're not just coming up with ideas, you're also saying, well, that's what the experts say, let's try it. Provides coaching, support and feedback. So you spend weeks trying to make yourself better. Jo doesn't appear. She doesn't appear, she's very busy. Anna, who said she'd watch my class, was off sick because she ran a marathon. You need feedback. You need somebody to say, well done. Great. Now the next step for you is to do this. We all, even though we're all adults, we need people to tell us, well done, or you're getting better. You all need to tell each other that when you see each other's classes. So, this is not, the second last point, this is not something you do on Wednesday in February of every year. It's ongoing, it's a way of thinking. I want to get better, how can I do that? And finally, it's not just you. Your employers and the organization should help you with this, should have that philosophy. You are part of an organization that wants you to get better, and we will help you with that. This is what teachers want. So, now, I'm going to give you a little strategy to help you look at your own teaching and to get you into the frame of mind of getting better every day. And it's called action research. Has anybody ever heard of action research? Okay, it's very simple and there's many words that are used, but I've made them as simple as possible because we don't want to get into the jargon. We want to get into the simple ideas. So if any of you have read this famous author called Stephen Covey about improving your life, one of his 7 habits of highly effective people is, he calls it sharpening the saw. Sharpening the saw, making the saw sharper. Our professional development, we're sharpening our professional saw all the time. This is what I consider is what action research is about. So I'm going to go through it because I'm going home on Saturday and I'm going to give you some homework. Don't panic. This homework is very minor. It's something you can do in your own time over 3 months. But I would ask you to do it because it will make a difference. Let's have a look. This, oh, I forgot that little thing, okay. So, action research. There's many words in this, I've made it very simple. So, we're talking about 4 simple steps. Let's start at the top. Reflect and identify. You're in your classroom. It's break time. Something's gone through your mind. You weren't happy about something in the class. Give me an example.
Students were talking. Students were talking.
Students were talking. Chatting.
Not on the topic of the lesson.
Okay. So you realize there's a problem in my class. This group, they're chatting all the time. And I don't feel it's right. I'm not achieving my learning outcomes here. So you're thinking, you're reflecting. So what's the problem here? Simple, simple, simple. If you never did this, you never thought in your mind, oh, I wish I did that better. If you never had that thought, then tell me, because you should be up here. Because I have it every day. So, first situation. There's something you want to make better. You're thinking about it. Something small. It's not like I want to be able to get my students to write a 15-page essay, and I want to be able to teach them to do that in 3 hours. That's huge and impossible. You start with something small, something very small. That group of students, they're always talking. Small is something you can focus on. Give us another example of an idea that might come into your head from your own experience at the break time, or when you're going home on the bus or on the bike or whatever, about your teaching this evening. Some idea that you have that you weren't happy with. Don't be afraid, please.
Something that makes us happy.
Something about your teaching which you believed didn't have the result that you hoped it would have. So I'm after doing your vocabulary. I gave them all the words. I hope they all know them. 10 minutes later, you want to use those words maybe in another context. You asked 3 of the students 2 of the words and they don't know them. I would say, oh, I have a problem here. Why did I move on without them? Exactly. Forget the students. We're not talking about professional.
I mean, if the lack of focus in the class, it means because our lecture is boring. If we, I mean, everyone, we're human, we're attracted to interesting things. If I can deliver information interestingly, then the student will learn it. If they don't, then there must be some problem with my teaching method, and I should consider
absolutely.
to change it.
What I'm saying to you, Chewie, is narrow the problem down to something very small that you can focus on, not a huge problem that you can fix quickly. You're talking about one little strategy that might be asking concept check questions. I'm not good at that. I know if I was able to do that, these guys would understand a little bit better. Something very small that you want to address. I know I talk too much, especially when doing grammar. So something is in your mind that you want to improve. I can't put that in your mind, but you should be having those things, because none of us are perfect. So, let's look at each of these steps. So the first one, in more detail, we're looking at this. So here's some questions to help you. What do I want to improve in my classroom? Here's some examples. So, think exactly, make one sentence, one simple sentence. Example, I want to learn to use concept checking questions better. Narrow, one little thing. One little thing. So, you want to say, okay, that's a problem for me. I want to make it better. I want it simple. It's a little thing. One little thing you're going to start with. You've heard of a SMART analysis. I want it simple, measurable. I want somebody that can look and say, yes, Audrey is not good at concept checking questions today. Because when she explained that, she only asked one question in the whole hour. So somebody can measure that that problem is there. It's achievable. It's something you can do. Something that's easier for you to learn and change. It's relevant. It's about your teaching, your classroom skills, and finally time bound. I want to achieve this in the next 2 weeks. So, think, your problem, you're not happy with it and you want to make it better. That's, we'll explain it a little bit more. Now, you think the problem is there. And this is where it becomes a little bit like research in university, but it's much simpler. When you're doing a project like this, you want it to be kind of a little bit scientific and it's real. So if you sense a problem there, you want some of your friends to come into your class, observe you, and say, well, I agree with you, yes. I listened to you for 40 minutes, and I think you could have used concept checking questions about 6 times, and I notice you only used 1 on 1 occasion. So you need somebody or something that will confirm the evidence, that will give evidence that the problem you say that's there is really there. I give an example. I said you could ask a friend. We sometimes call them a critical friend. You're going to help me with this little project. I wanted to come into the class. I think I have this problem with concept check questions. This is what I think. When you come in for 40 minutes, observe me and tell me your opinion. So your friend could help you just write a page of feedback on their observation. What other ways could you get evidence that there's a little problem in your teaching? You can get feedback from the students, but remember the feedback must be about the little thing that you want to change. Not about how wonderful a teacher you are. It must be only about the little thing you want to change. Feedback from your students. You can make a little questionnaire. How else? You could make a video of yourself. You could record yourself on your iPhone. So you've identified the problem. You now have evidence that yes, that problem exists. Okay. I know there's a problem, what do I do next? Well, this is where it's a little bit like a study. It doesn't mean going to the library and getting 16 books. Do a little bit of research. Go online. Get a book and read about teaching strategies in class. Simple, simple, simple. You're not going to university to study a degree. You're doing a little bit of work to help you get better in your classroom. So, research and plan. Do some research, example, concept checking questions. What are they? When will I use them? How do I make them? Show me some examples. Show me, I'll go to a teacher who's good at it. So carry out a little bit of research and then, okay, now I think I'm going to try this. My plan is that next Monday I'm going to start to use this new strategy in my classroom. So you're going to plan the next to use the new information that you've achieved. And then finally, act and observe. Try it out. Try it out. Did I change? Did I get better? How do you know you got better? Get your friend to come in and look at you. Or record with your iPhone again. Or make a video again. Simple, simple, simple. So, this is a simple action research cycle. Simple things that you can work on again and again over a week, a month, over your year of working, which will help you target little things that you know need to get better in your classroom. I'll send this out to you, by the way, this PowerPoint, to get this. So
I mean that this 4, number 4 is that you start to implement.
At the top, let's say, act and observe is like the 4th step, but a cycle is continuing. You might find, yeah, I did get better, but not as good as I'd hoped. So you start the cycle again. Or you've achieved what you want to commence the cycle. So it's getting into the frame of mind is, if there's problems, I have the control over them to make them better. It's nobody else's problem. I know teachers and others can help me, but ultimately I can make this better. And it's not rocket science. I'm in control of my professional development. So just finally, to look back at that cycle in detail again. Don't worry about the words too much, just understand what the stages mean.
Same stage and the same cycle as plan, do, check, act, which you've got to see as well. It's exactly the same.
Plan, do, check, act. Yes.
So this reminds me that this is like somehow same thinking like what Six Sigma has. What Six Sigma has. So define, analyzing, program, control. So you have to understand how what are the cause and effect of matrix, and also include the development of the implementation. So they are quite close.
Yes, but I actually think you're making it too complicated.
Yeah, I know that.
So what in your training, whatever your background is, this cycle is pretty common. In education circles, it's called action research. And there's big, long, complicated names for all these steps. But I'm just making it as simple as possible. I found something that's wrong, I think. I'm going to get some evidence to prove it's not working the way it should be. My friend came in, observed the class and agreed with me. I'm going to do some research to make it better. Oh, now I've learned how to do it better. I'm going to go into the class and try it, and my friend is going to come in and check it up, observe again, and see if that improvement actually took place. Well, that is real professional development. To me it is, because you're in control, you can do it all the time, you have control over your own improvement. You don't suddenly become the best teacher because Miss G is sitting in the back of the room and Joe arrives every 3 months. That's not the way to think, I believe. So we're going to send you all this. Finally, the homework. Your homework could be 4 or 5 pages over the next 3 months before I see you again. If you want to do it sooner or later, you can email it to me, because I want to put all this material on our website about what our teachers do for professional development. And you can be as simple as you want, or you can be as creative as you want. You will all get this PowerPoint put away. So, you will have 6 pages or 3 pages. First one is called My Concern. I teach GE Level 1. I know I'm good at this, but I have a concern about this. In particular, I understand the phrase concept checking questions, but I don't think I really understand how to use them. I think this may be a problem, because often I find I've moved on, but some of the students don't really. It doesn't seem they don't remember or they don't get what I've taught them. That's that section done. It's not a big project or a thesis. It's you writing down in simple English each stage. The second one, the current situation. My friend Lynn and I have worked at this level for a long time. We've discussed this problem, and she's agreed to come to my class, and we've explained and discussed the issue of concern to me. She agreed to come to my class on Monday, from 8 till 9 p.m. That's what I'm asking you to do, to document what you actually do in reality. If you want to write more, that's fine. Evidence 1. My friend Min, this was the feedback she gave. Leave a copy of her notes that she took. This confirms that the problem actually did exist. Or, Min suggests that that's not the problem. However, the problem is this. So, half a page. Way forward, my research, go and do some reading. Write down the name of the book. Write down the ideas you heard. What book did you read? This is where it becomes a little bit like real study. But it's always good to show when you've done a bit of research. Next page of your report is, from reading that, this is what I'm going to do next week. My way forward. I'm going to do this. This is my plan next week. I'm going to try for 3 days, blah, blah, blah. Carry it out. Then your friend comes in and observes you again, takes notes. So Min came back into my class on that Tuesday. I implemented my plan. This is Min's feedback. Yes, it seems that I got better. The only problem we have after discussing this is that perhaps rather than 2 per 5 minutes, I should ask 4. I'm emphasizing how simple this is for you. That is your homework between now and Christmas. Not for me, for you. And I would really like to put these on a section on our website, show our teachers who are involved in ongoing professional development, and they use the action research approach to do that. And we take a photograph and say how wonderful these people are. And maybe we'd have a little award for the best project. It doesn't have to be the one, yeah, we might look into that. Okay, what do we do today? So, we started off by talking about what a good teacher is. Then we moved on to talk about what makes a good employee. We talked about the attributes that somebody would have if you wanted to employ them. And we got to the idea of professional development being very important for all of us. And I showed you a very simple plan of professional development called action research. And I showed you the simple steps in that. And I'm asking you, I'm not telling you you have to do it, but I'm asking you to try a little project and write it up with these headings. And maybe in December, we can have a day looking at your results, or your research. What did you learn? That's real professional development. You telling your friends what worked for you, and I promise you somebody will say, oh yeah, I must try that. What about this little project? How do you feel about it? Am I... Sorry?
Crying.
You're crying. Good. So please try it out, write it up, 4 or 5 pages. You have 3 months to do it, and let's share when we get back together in December. So let it be your Christmas present to me. I think that's fair. All right, so for today, any questions on that action research idea? Please feel free. I don't want to come in like a big stick and tell you to do things. That's not my intention.
Any Christmas gift back if I can?
You always have students like this in the class. Any Christmas present back, I have a big hug for you. Okay, we're going to wrap up now. Thank you for your time and your input especially. You've shown the insight inside you that shows your people that we want to have here. Let's start getting into that frame of mind where we can work on things like this, and every few months come back and have a look at what we've all learned. I can tell you, you learn most when you do it yourself. All right, guys? Thank you. So at the moment, we have perhaps 3 groups of courses. We will be expanding those into the future, of course, but just to focus on those at the moment. Perhaps we call it the basic course is your general English. And most students who start studying English will join a general English course. At the moment, we've 3 levels of general English. We call them G1, G2, and G3. We could also use the words elementary, pre-intermediate, and intermediate. And this general English course is for students who want to build their language skills before they specialise in perhaps more complex, more demanding English language courses. The particular course that's extremely popular in Vietnam is IELTS preparation. That is the English language course that students will study to prepare themselves to complete a real IELTS examination sometime in the future. There are reasons for doing that. Well, many students I've spoken to have a strong interest in studying overseas at some time in the future, particularly when they've finished high school here in the Vietnamese system. The sort of places they're interested in, particularly Canada, the US, Australia, to a smaller extent the UK. But all those locations, having an IELTS score will make it easier for them to move immediately into study should they decide to go to one of those locations for further study. We have currently 3 levels of IELTS preparation, level 1, 2 and 3. Our level 1 is designed for students who are aiming towards perhaps 5.5 in IELTS. That's what they would like to achieve when they finish their IELTS examination. Our IELTS 2 would focus on students wishing to achieve 6.5 to 7 score in IELTS. And our IELTS level 3 is for students at the top end who wish to score an IELTS 8 in the academic IELTS English test. Our third group of courses are designed particularly for younger learners, those aged perhaps 12 to 16, 17. And we call that course Teen Talent. That course is modelled on a course called High School Preparation, which we have back in Sydney. These younger students, of course, have particular learning needs that adults may not have. Teachers taking the Teen Talent courses need particular skills in classroom management you may not need with adults. At the moment, we're developing a new elective for our Teen Talent courses. This additional add-on course involves the language of key high school subjects that Vietnamese students will have encountered during their time in Vietnamese high schools. We're talking about subject content to do with biology, chemistry, physics, geography and world studies, literary analysis, reading perhaps a famous novel and do the sort of analysis on that students would in their English classes or even their Vietnamese literary classes here in Vietnam. So that high school subject content we hope to bring on board within a couple of months, and those students studying Teen Talent may decide to study the high school subject English as an optional extra. So in summary, our 3 families of courses we have here. We have the general English, we have the exam preparation at the moment, specifically IELTS preparation, and finally the courses designed for younger learners, which we call Teen Talent.